President Trump has announced that he will host Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan at the White House on September 25th. The visit marks a significant moment in US-Turkey relations, particularly regarding ongoing disputes over fighter jets. Erdogan's visit to the White House will mark his first bilateral trip since 2019, when Trump was in his first term as US President. The visit also follows a meeting between the two leaders at the United Nations General Assembly in New York. President Trump and Erdogan are expected to discuss several key agreements, including a large-scale purchase of Boeing aircraft and a major F-16 deal. The two leaders will also continue talks on the F-35 fighter jet program. The F-35 fighter jet program was halted in 2019 after Turkey purchased Russian S-400 missile defenses, raising concerns about potential security risks. Despite this, Turkey has expressed interests in rejoining the program, and President Trump is optimistic about concluding these talks positively. The F-35 program is seen as crucial for US military relations with its NATO allies. Taking to social media, Trump said that shared good relations with the Turkish president and expects trade and military deals to come through when they meet on September 25th. Professor James A. Russell is joining us from Washington, D.C. He's an associate professor in the Department of National Security Affairs and also an expert on U.S. foreign policy. Professor, thank you very much for making time for us and welcome to the program. I just want to know from you, how do you foresee this visit by Turkish President Erdogan, because he's considered to be very vocal and very critical critic?
I think President Erdogan has been one of the most, frankly, constructive of the regional leaders that have raised serious questions about the American approach throughout the Persian Gulf and the Middle East. And this is at a time when the United States evinces little leadership and seems focused on only one thing in the region, which is to continue the flow of arms and money to the Israelis so that they can continue the genocide in Gaza. Mm-hmm. And I think Erdogan has raised questions about this, and I think he deserves great credit for it. Interestingly, I think in your report as well, I think it very accurately states, again, from the American perspective, the United States has sort of turned itself into simply an arms salesman. None of American security guarantees mean anything anymore, with the Israeli attack on Qatar as a recent example of this. So I think Erdogan he's a very savvy international interlocutor, and I think he will, of course, seek to get the best terms that he can out of this upcoming meeting with Trump. I don't think there's going to be any progress on the F-35. I think the Turks would be crazy to buy the F-35. This is the most expensive program in American military history, and it's been a debacle. He'd be better off, much better off, buying additional F-16s or keeping the F-16 program going.
Mm-hmm. Professor Russell, what will be the importance or the significance of this trade deal with the United States between Turkey and the United States?
Well, it's a good question, and it's also a sign of the times, which is to say the world we live in, because there was a period of time when the American-Turkish relationship was from the American perspective, one of the most important relationships the United States had in the region. And there was a wide-ranging series of elements to that relationship, which include political, military, and economic cooperation across the board. And what we are seeing, of course, is that a lot of those activities have ceased to have that much importance, which is just another way of sort of pointing out the obvious, which is that the regional balance of political power and military power is shifting away from the United States, and the United States is wielding less influence in the region, and Erdogan, I think, is again a savvy international leader, is very aware of this, and as again raised in your report, he's on a border with Russia, and he's interested in finding out what kinds of deals he can make with Putin, and I think, like as is the case in India, that Erdogan is prepared to sort of play both sides of the fence. And the day of Turkey being solely in the Western camp as a result of its close bilateral relationship with the United States, as well as its membership in NATO, has made the sort of era of U.S. ascendance in Turkish sort of U.S.-Turkish relations a thing of the past. I think Erdogan, though, of course, is very cognizant of all of this, and he will seek to reach economic accommodation to keep Trump happy. But again, from a broader strategic perspective, I think the United States has lost the sort of bubble on the U.S.-Turkish relationship, which is, I hasten to say, a very bad thing, because Turkey remains an immensely important strategic player, both in the region and in the world.
Professor James Russell, it's good to see you. We'll have to end it there. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
Thank you for having me.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.